One time out of 10, two times won't you be mine? We just can't
Welcome,
pretend.
Marco Vargas, to Coaching in Session. How are you doing today?
Great, man. It's good to be here.
All right, I'm glad to have you on too. I'm going to be getting a different perspective on the work you do because you are a life coach, and I know many people I bring on are some type of coach. That's what Coaching in Session is. But the work that everyone does is always a little bit unique. We always have a different twist. We always have a different flair. Think of culture. If I cook American food or if I cook maybe Colombian food, it's going to have a different type of kick, a different type of spice. That flavor right there, that personality that we can get from someone is going to be important because we have to find the coach that's going to resonate with us. Without me talking about your whole biography and your whole culture, tell the world who you are, what you do, and how you help them.
Great. Well, I'm Marco Vargas, and the name of my company is Activo Coaching. And I like to work with men and women to help them find their center pretty much. Due to my background, I was always trying to connect with others, and I never connect with myself. But once I had my heart attack, being at the hospital, that's when I connected with my own self. And I see the need on people to connect, being present with who they are. That's the purpose of Activo Coaching, is to help people connect with who they are to become a better version of themselves. Now, my approach is a little bit different from everybody else because I like to work with what I call the 3D, which is your past, which is where you're coming from, your present, which is where you are right now, and your future, which is where you're either going to be or where you want to be, how you want your future to be. Also, your relationship with your kids, your family, your wife. What energy are you operating from? And is that energy working for you? What frequency daily you work on? It's a high frequency, it's a low level frequency, Those are the things. And are you aware of where you are? That's one of the main things. Once I'm working with someone, I want to know, are you aware of where you are? Are you aware of your feelings? Are you aware of your emotions? Are you clear of where you want to be? Those are the things that I work the most with the clients that I work with.
Well, there's always a story behind the man or the woman when they become a coach. I know you said you had a traumatic experience in your life. You had a heart attack, and it allowed you to see the world in a different light, a new light. What was your upbringing like? Did you grow up in a single parent household, 2-parent household, brothers and sisters, that type of thing that led you to that lifestyle that was that heart attack?
Well, it was really, I grew up with a great family, with my mom and my dad, 3 brothers, 1 sister, a lot of uncles. I was very loved. My grandma, my grandfather, I was very loved. But I was never the kid that followed rules. I didn't follow rules. My mom was always trying to, hey, don't do this like that. I used to climb trees and buildings and jump from them all the time. Or I used to just do things that were very challenging for my mom because I have dyslexia. And my mother never told me, and she never allowed me to treat myself like I have a disability or a situation where I wasn't able to achieve whatever I wanted to. My older brother, who was badass in everything, like to this day, he's like my hero. My dad too. My dad was my hero too. I have the sample from my dad and my brother as older. And then I have my younger brother who follows me, who is super smart, like a genius based on my mentality. And I didn't saw my genius. I didn't saw that I was smart, but I was creative. I was super creative. I was able to create fast. I was able to connect with creating things and doing art. And to me, it was challenging because I was competing against my older brother and my younger brother. So my background is that I was going to school to become a priest, which is really crazy. And then I got to a point that I realized, like, wait a minute, I can help other people doing this, not only through religion, because there was something that didn't click with me that I was like, this is not really working for me and I want to help. Even though I wanted to do that, I stopped that and I started working on construction, building houses. But the calling was there, like, I couldn't let go. I couldn't let go of it. So I became a personal trainer and a life coach. And I started building houses and working with clients, coaching them, and that was going great. Then I suffered my 4th heart attack, and then that's when everything changed big time.
And the reason why we had those heart attacks, was it because of like bad health or was it because of stress?
Stress, purely stress. And And according to the doctor, it was, I would say 10% genetic, 10%. But if I wouldn't have the amount of stress that I was having at the time, it wouldn't happen. But the stress, and I tell you why I was stressed. And, I was in denial. I would say, for 10 years in my marriage. I wanted to be the perfect father. I wanted to be the perfect husband. And I lost myself wanting to be those things. And I didn't know that I was lost. And I was dealing with the stress. As a man, my mentality was, I have to do what I learned from my parents. I have to be there for my partner. I have to help her grow. I have to deal with whatever comes my way because I have my family. And remember, I have a background as a wanting to become a pastor, that I don't believe in divorce at that point. I didn't believe in divorce. So I was dealing with a lot. I was working construction, like I told you, and I was also working as a life coach and a personal training. And I was taking all the responsibility of all the clients that I was working with, because my belief is that if you're trying to achieve something and I'm working with you, once I agreed to work with you, because that was the other thing, I didn't work with anybody. I worked with people that I thought that click with me. Once I agreed to work with you, I'm going to hold your hand. And if you do the work, we're going to get you to the top. So I was carrying all of that with me. And the heart attack happened. Like, your body eventually will quit on you. Your body eventually will be like, I'm done. Your body will quit on you. And it did. And my father actually, I would say that saved my life, because the first heart attack happened at the library. I did the coaching and the training. I went to the library to get some material. I didn't eat. And I remember everything going dark and having a pain on my right arm. Everything went dark. I fall on the floor. I open my eyes. I'm looking up. And I was like, oh, wow, my sugar went down. Probably my sugar went down too low, and that's why. So I called my dad and said, Dad, this is funny. This is what happened to me. He said, I think it's for a heart attack. Come over. In my house, he was at my house, and I was probably 5 minutes away. I drive to the house. I get there. Hey, Dad, how you doing? It's like, dude, you're looking yellow. And I'm, not yellow. He told me, I have to take you to the hospital. I said, no, I'm not going to the hospital, Papa. I just probably trained too much. I didn't eat properly, and that's probably why. He said, no, something happened. I said, no, I think I'm good. I think it was because I didn't eat. I probably pulled a muscle. When I go to get in my truck, I fall on my knees. That was the second heart attack. My father takes the key, puts me in the truck, takes me to the hospital. When I get to the hospital, third heart attack. They put me in the table, EKG, fourth heart attack. I wake up 2 weeks later with my chest completely open. And my family's around me, and when I saw my family being around me, I was like, what happened? And so my family, I remember waking up to my daughter calling my name, Daddy, Daddy. I have 3 kids. So my younger daughter at the time was calling my name. I remember her calling my name. So when I opened my eyes, she was the first thing I saw. And that broke my heart. See my family, see me in that situation, it was bad for me. It was really bad. Right there, I never had that feeling of depression. But right there and then I understood that feeling. And guilt, like I started having this guilt, and then I started blaming everything around me. Like, why does this happen to me? I eat properly, I train, I live a good life, I try my very best, thinking that I didn't deserve to go through something hard. And my mind was in a place that I wasn't right. But having the heart attack, that's an awakening for me. That's when I wake up from a reality that I was living that wasn't good or healthy for me.
We all have that traumatic experience that wakes us up. It jolts us awake. I mean, it could be something big like a heart attack, or it could be something small like, ow, I hurt my foot. It depends on the person. Everyone's going to have a different chemical response in the brain. You just had the really big one where it's like a big wake up call. I always tell people, don't wait for that big wake up call. Do something today. What can you do today? And one of the hidden killers to a lot of people is stress. People don't even realize how stressed they are, especially men. Men have so much responsibilities, and then you have the stress of your father, your older brother, and your younger brother, and competing, that competition that is there. It creates an unnecessary stress or maybe a stress that you might not even know it's there until it's like, wait, let me pay attention, right? Like understanding, like, where am I? Oh, this is happening. We can do so much better with our stress, but a lot of times we just throw that stress away. We throw that stress in a corner. We say, okay, I will do it later. We said, this is not a big problem right now. And we just kind of keep going until something breaks. How do you help people today, now that you had that experience with the heart attack and understanding who you are, deal with stress and manage it better?
Well, the first thing I do is I tell them to sit down and write down how they feel right now. Like, that's the first thing. Like, I want you to take some time to write down how you feel right now. And as they writing those things down, I ask them, what are the emotions that you're feeling right now? Where do they come from? Do they come from your childhood? Do they come from your marriage? Do they come from your job? They come from your boss, your schooling? Where does it come from? Once they know what they feeling and where it come from, then we go to that part. Let's work on that. Let's say it's the past. Let's work on your past. And I help them understand that you're not your past. Your past is part of you, but you cannot live in your past. And if you live in your past, you're only living in the part of your past that comes with pain and discomfort. So let's deal with that reality. Let's deal with that pain so you can let go. Because when you're carrying guilt within you, it's very stressful because you carry a guilt within you that people can help you with that. Nobody can help you with your own guilt. And you destroy yourself when you feel guilty of something, you destroy yourself. When you have an inner conversation with yourself that is, I'm a loser, I'm an idiot. If you talk to yourself negative, but it's based on your past, it's based on your past. Your conversation is based on your past. It's not really much that you can do because you cannot go back to your past to fix that. You can only move forward. So I say, take the time right now to acknowledge where you are, which is the main thing you have to do. And now let's work on creating a structure on how you're going to be. Because people create structure to what they're going to do. No, let's create structure on how you're going to be. And I'll give you a perfect example. Some men, they feel overweight, right? And they say, I'm going to go to the gym. Well, they do that. They go to the gym. They finally make the effort. They make it to the gym. When they get to the gym, they sit down, they take their cell phone, and they're looking at things on the cell phone. Well, you did. You went to the gym, but you didn't work out. So I make them very clear. One thing is when you say something as a man, you're going to come from the energy of a man, not from the energy of a female that she's going to talk, to express and connect. You're going to do. So when you say you're going to the gym, I want you to move a little bit further than that and say, I'm going to the gym to do 10 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, 10 pull-ups. Just that. When you get to the gym, you do that. That very little. I don't want you to do much after that. You do that, and that's it for now. Let's get to that. So I try to get them to go and do what they say they're going to do. When you say you're going to eat healthy, okay, let's be clear. Some people say, I'm going to start eating healthy. Yeah, they eat a salad. Yeah, they go to McDonald's and they order a salad, but they also order a Big Mac, French fries, a soda. In their brain, they're telling your brain the information. They're telling the brain the information that they're eating healthy, but they don't have a healthy meal plan with the right macros. They don't have a plan that they're going to follow to what they're going to put in their body, which is going to be the energy on how they're going to behave. So I try to work on making them let's get clear on what is required. And the first thing you have to do is get connected with who you are. The second thing is to do the things that you say that you are going to do with a very clear intention and purpose. And that seems to help when it comes to stress. Because once you achieve those things, you don't have the stress of, man, I'm a failure, I didn't do it. Because then when you go home, you say, I'm going to the gym, you know that you didn't work out. You know you're lying to yourself. You know you're lying to your wife. You know you're lying to your kids. So you have that guilt again. You go back to guilt, which is low frequency. You want to buy in high frequency. Another example, I want to lose weight. So I'm going to work out and I'm going to eat. Literally, these are people say, I'm going to work out and I'm going to eat. Yeah, they work out and they eat properly, but they don't rest. Also, they drink too much alcohol. They use drugs. They watch porn. They do vices that at the end of the day, when everything is said and done, it's destroying you as a person. You're not solid. You're not connected with your inner peace. Because you're not giving your wife the best. You're not giving your kids the best. You're not giving your job or your work or what you do for a living the best. You're giving half of it, and you're hiding from your own self. I don't know anyone who watch porn in public. I don't know anyone who does that. Nobody watch porn in public. When people watch porn, they're hiding. I don't know people that get high in public. When people are getting high, they hiding. So when you're hiding something, you feel that. You feel like, well, this is not right. So one thing that you know why you're stressed, because there's something that you're not dealing with. There's a pain that you're trying to hide. So you want to get dopamine in your brain. And the fastest way to get dopamine is eating, is drinking, is watching things that is going to give us pleasure according to that moment, the sugar rush in that moment, the nervous system in that moment. But you becoming disconnected from your kids, your wife, your mom, your dad. You keep counting, and we can even count the amount of people that are disconnected when you start behaving that way. It's kind of crazy, but I always tell them, let's be present and let's deal with it. Whatever it is, you have to deal with it at one point. The stress there because there's something besides the stress that is bothering you. And you don't feel the stress. This is the crazy thing. You do not feel the stress in your body. The stress is in the mind because of the internal conversation that you are having on the actions that you want to take, but you're not taking. So that's the main thing for me. Like, let's be present and let's deal with what we have to deal with. This is a reality. And I use a journal that I created that is based on the high frequency and low frequency. So the journal has all the frequency and it shows you literally low frequency and high frequency and what's on between. And where are you when you're there? So that journal help you understand, like, okay, this is a low frequency stage. What am I there? What am I doing that is getting me here? And what am I not doing that is not bringing me to where I need to be, which is a high frequency stage? It's 9 of them. So that seems to help a lot when people sit down and work on it and do it. So
can you give me an example of a low frequency activity or behavior, and then an example of a high activity or high frequency behavior or a habit?
Okay, high frequency, one high frequency that is very great. You wake up, drink a glass of water, touch your heart, and breathe and be grateful. Think of someone that you love that is loving you back, or something great, like being able to breathe. Something like this. I'm grateful because I can breathe. That's a high frequency because you become grateful. Then you get into that stage of being grateful, having gratitude, bring you to high frequency. When you cannot complain and have gratitude at the same time. Low frequency, complaining, complacency is a low frequency. I think it's 50 on the charge. It's very low. When you complain, you don't see a solution. You should say it's nothing that can be done. That's pretty much what you say. So that's a low frequency. How do you change from having a low frequency mindset to a high frequency mindset? You become aware. You become aware of who you are and how you talk, or who have you become. Because you become the 4 that are around you. If you were your wife and she complain a lot, you start complaining as a man. If you're a man and you complain a lot, your woman start complaining. To be aware of your frequencies is very important because, like, wait a minute, this frequency is not serving me. Low frequency will never serve you. It will always hold you back. So there are actions that you have to take. Breathing, drinking water, walking, acknowledging yourself by touching your chest and understanding, this is what you say when you touch your chest. I'm here. I'm here. And then the next step, become grateful. Find something to be grateful for, but be really grateful. Don't be a hypocrite and pretend to be grateful, because you're not going to go to the high frequency. You're not going to walk differently or move differently. Literally, when you are vibrating in a high frequency, your shoulders go back. Your chest is pop up. As a man, your neck is clear. You don't look down. You never look down when you're in a high frequency. You know when you're low frequency? When you're looking down, when your shoulders are down, because you feel ashamed of yourself. But high frequency, I'm grateful, I have gratitude. I feel proud of what I have. High frequency, be proud of what you have. Be proud of your family. Be proud of your body. Whatever your body is right now, be proud of it. Now, I want to change it. I want to make it better. Nobody, I don't know of anyone that say, I want to make my body worse. Do you know of anyone that say, I want to make my body worse? I want to be weaker, sicker, dumber. I don't know of anyone. Now, most people, they want to improve their body. Well, be grateful of your body the way it is now and love it. God, I love my body the way it is now, and I'm going to change it. And be clear, I'm going to change it. I'm going to take control. High frequency. Right there, little things, high frequency. That the next step, move, take action. Because I'm so grateful, I'm gonna change my body. Okay, I'm done for this. That's not it. Now, when you're being negative, that's a low frequency. That's a low frequency, and that frequency is very, very attractive. We are very attracted to negativity because negativity will bring you into misery. Misery will come up with excuses, and excuses are going to hold you down. Once something is holding you down, it's the reason it's holding you down. You have to look around, who's holding me down? Then you're going into blame, low frequency. You're going into blame. You're going to blame someone. And when you start blaming someone, you really believe that it's the other person's fault. You really believe, oh, I'm broke because I'm not making enough money because my boss or my company or my job. No, you broke because you're not taking action. You broke because you're not serving. You broke because you're not doing the things that you need to do to improve your life. And I will even go further than that. You broke because you're not clear on what you want to be doing with your time. Because once you understand what you want to be doing with your time, whatever you do, you're going to do it with passion. And once you do it with passion, it's going to be great. And once it's great, people want that. People want that service. People want whatever you are doing, people are going to love. But what you're doing, you don't know what you want to do with your time. That's the main thing. So you're in low frequency because everybody else is telling you what to do with your time. Your boss is telling you what to do with your time, but you're not giving him the best version of you. You're giving him a mediocre version of you. If you give your boss that, that's what you give your family. Like the main thing, as men, we have to understand, wait a minute, am I giving my best? And if I'm not giving my best, ask yourself the question, why aren't you giving your best? Who are you blaming? And once you understand you're blaming somebody, and let's say that you do have someone to blame. Let's say I do have someone to blame. Okay, take the time to blame the person all you want. Take a lot of time blaming the person. Record it on the phone and take at least 1 hour, literally sit down and say, okay, I'm going to blame this person for 1 hour. Something very interesting is going to happen. Once you start blaming that person and you start seeing yourself, you're going to start laughing. Your brain will become aware on how funny you look by blaming someone else and how crazy you look by blaming someone else. Because nothing changed after that hour. You'll be like, oh, well, really, nothing really happened. Nothing happened after you spend an hour. Do that exercise. Anyone who wants to see how crazy that is, try it. The other thing, stop blaming yourself for the situation that you're in right now, because you're already on it. It doesn't make a difference why you're on it. You're on it. You either stay on it or you get out. So you have to be aware of your frequency. You have to understand it. You have to be very clear. And this is a crazy thing. Your low frequency is super contagious to everybody around you. Have you ever been in a situation where you are angry and cranky and you behave like that towards your wife and she become angry and cranky? You behave like that to think about it for a second. Think about it. Or a co-worker, he asks you, you snap to him. You do it yourself and you snap. Then the next thing you know, he's snapping back at you. Low frequency. But if it's a high frequency, if you guys are, if it's the connection of high frequency, good morning, baby, how you doing? How was your day? Oh, it's going great, And if you start complaining, are you complaining like something simple as asking the person, are you complaining? Oh, no. Because we don't want to hear that we are complaining. But once your partner make you aware of you complaining, you stop it right there. You will stop right there. You will, no. That's the first thing people say, no, I'm not complaining. So low frequency and high frequency, but let's talk the frequency on between. The frequency on between low frequency and high frequency, you're right in the middle. Being in the middle is the worst. Because when you're in the middle of the frequency, you're not happy or sad. You're comfortable. Now you're not going to take any type of action. You're comfortable. Everything seems to be okay. You're not in a place where you are happy. And you want to be in a frequency where you are happy and fulfilled, when you are growing, where you are making things happen, where you are achieving something. Every time you are not achieving something, you're stuck. Think of a container of water where the water doesn't move. After a period of time, with mud and dirt and grass, that water is going to have a smell. It's going to smell bad. Now think of the ocean. The force of the ocean keep the water moving out of time. It doesn't smell bad. It's actually healing. It's the same thing when you're there, when you're in the middle of a frequency and you're not happy or sad or angry, you are stuck. And try never to be there. It's better to be in a low frequency to change it to a high frequency than to be in the middle. You never want to be in the middle. The Bible said, don't be warm, be the cold hot. So that's to me, it's like, be aware of where you are. Be always aware of where you are to start working specifically on your frequency, on your mindset, on your mentality, on the way you talk to yourself and others. And don't become that person that you are that you don't like. Because more and more and more and more people come the person that they don't want to be. My mom and my dad used to do this. I don't like that. That's why you're doing purposely, literally purposely, you're doing it by saying that that's not what you're going to do. Just be clear on who you want to be and work on that. Don't work on who you don't want to be. Don't put that energy, because you're putting that energy on it. It's bringing you to low frequency.
Yeah, like everything you spoke about is true. We have to understand ourselves. We have to know our frequencies. We have to understand the mindset. We have to know about the people we have around us. All of those just come back full circle to what you do and how you help people, because we want you to get into that higher frequency. We want you to begin to take more accountability for your life. And for the people who make excuses, working with a life coach is just the first step to be more accountable and make less excuses. Because if you're late for work, oh, I'm late for work because of traffic, you shift your mindset. You're not late for work because of traffic. You're late because you didn't leave early enough. And we take ownership of our life, even for the things that we don't have control of. Yes, there might have been traffic. I'm not saying there wasn't. There could have been a big car accident that you left for 2 hours before, but the highway was closed for an hour and a half. So you have no control sometimes, but you take ownership of that regardless of the situation that goes on. Yes, there's a car accident. You're late for work. Deal with it, right? But don't pass that blame on to someone else, because if you pass that blame on to someone else, guess what? It's a habit now. Oh, the reason why I'm not happy is because of this. Oh, the reason why I'm fat is because of this. Oh, the reason why I don't have enough money is because of this. We are just going to make that a habit, and excuses are a habit. And a lot of people have that habit of excuses. You also talked about negativity. People love negativity. The brain is just drawn to it. It's a safety mechanism we have. We can rewire how we use our brain, neuroplasticity. Do not think, if you think negative, you can't think in a more high frequency, positive manner. Anyone can do it. It might take a lot of work. It might take a lot of coaching, especially if you had a lot of traumas and a lot of hardships to deal with, and you have to overcome that obstacle, because the subconscious mind is not going to make it easy. So we have to do that whole process of helping you through that. And can you do it by yourself? Always. But it's more difficult. You just have to go through it, and then you're going to find yourself, well, I don't feel like going through it today, because we like comfort. We don't like expending energy. The brain's number one job is to keep us alive. And then how we do that is conserve energy. So if we have to make changes in our life, guess how we do it? We have to exert energy. But the brain is already telling us, hey, we need to save energy, because you never know, we could be in danger. Something can come and try to kill us, and we need to be able to run. But you can't even run because you're overweight. You can't even run because you're too afraid. How can we start to take more action? How can we start to be the people that we're supposed to be? So many people are having a hard time living life because society or culture is telling them to live a certain way or to be a certain way, or the examples that we see of life, of a man, of a woman, are the wrong examples and are leading us to depression, sadness, lack of gratitude, in a lower frequency state. Maybe even in the middle, right? The worst place we can be, right? Warm. We don't want to be there. We need to figure out how we can start to take more action. How do you help people take more action once they figure out where they are?
Well, the first thing, once you know where you are, like you already know where you are. Now let's figure out where you want to be. Because if you know where you are, you only have two choices. You either stay there or you move forward. So let's figure out where you want to be. Now, once that's become clear, it's easy said and done, believe it or not. It's not as easy as a thing to know where you want to be, because sometimes you will have someone who's very creative, but is not being somebody who's creating. So that person inside is dying. Your natural soul is dying. Some people like to direct others, but they're not directing anybody. They're being directed. They dying inside. Find your core. Like, ask yourself your question, what is my course? Where does my source of energy come from? Where do I feel great? I believe you used to be a teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
You used to be a teacher, you became a life coach, and it was something that had to do with swimming.
Yes, I was
You
a swim
didn't,
coach. Yeah, I was a swim coach, teacher, taught music, special ed.
okay, so you didn't, were you being happy being in the water? Like, okay, I'm in the water and I feel centered here and I feel fulfilled and I feel great. I'm helping people. I have this great feeling, and you connected when you did those things. But it was something inside telling you, I have a different calling. There's something else that I'm doing, that I want to do, that I feel great about it. That I wake up and I feel fired up. That I don't feel like I'm working when I'm doing it. I love helping people. You love connecting with others, bringing this information to other people. You feel centered. But let's say I put you in a kitchen to cook as a chef, because you have to make money to pay the bills. How you think you're gonna feel?
As a chef, I mean, I actually worked in a kitchen for 6 years. I loved it too. So
As a chef?
yeah.
Okay, so let's say something that you don't like to do.
All right.
That was
I don't like painting, and I don't like mowing the lawn.
okay, perfect. So let's say your job is only to paint and cut the grass because you need to bring income to your house.
I'll be miserable.
Yeah, and then every time you get home to your partner that has a masculine energy based on, I need protection for my family. As a woman needs protection. And when a woman needs protection, she will become masculine when it comes to the way she connect and she inform the information. She needs money. So you have to cut the grass. You have to work painting as your job. She's not going to listen to you as a man. So your energy change to a feminine energy. Now, instead of being a man that has a purpose and has a family to guide, it's a man without a purpose who's being guided and manipulated by the situation, not by your wife. Don't make it personal. It's not your wife. It's you that are not taking the time. Guess what? When your wife and your kids are sleeping, you should be studying or researching something that is to your interest, to what you want. So when I'm going to have people take action, let's deal with this reality. Who are you? And what do you want to do with your time? That's the main thing. And you'll be surprised. I would say that 95% of the people, they don't know what they want to do. They literally say, I don't know. They say, well, I did this because my father did this. I became a doctor because of my mom. One guy, he's like, I became a doctor because of my mom, but I don't like it at all. He wanted to work construction. Literally, and I was like, wait a minute, you are a doctor. You are a brain doctor. You do surgeries, and your dream is to do construction? Why? Why would you put yourself through that abuse? I mean, I used to build custom homes, so I'm in the sun. I'm dealing with the stress of building, and he's like, I love it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to connect you with someone who's going to hire you to do construction. But dude, you a doctor, you're never going to see the same amount of money. And he's like, can you do that? I said, yes, you're going to start as a helper. The guy demeanor changed. It was from like 1 to 100. He was happy, singing. Man, he was such a different person. And you would think, hey, that's crazy. But be clear on who you want to be. Be clear on what worked for you. Be clear on that. Like, to take action, we cannot just take any action. We have to take an action that has an intention. And the intention is to run away from the pain and the discomfort that you are feeling right now and go towards the peace that you need to be at peace, because there are things that will make you be at peace. That it might not make me be at peace, but it will make you be at peace. At the end of the day, when everything is said and done, guess what everybody wants? Is to feel at peace. Everybody wants to avoid pain and discomfort. Is pain and discomfort bad? No, it's actually good, because pain and discomfort is going to help you move forward. When you're working out, you rip your muscles in order for them to change. But once they change and you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, oh, wow, this is great. But you have to go through that pain and that discomfort. Now, the peace and the tranquility that we understand as peace and tranquility is individually ours. You cannot say your peace is mine. It's not. Because you feel, I don't feel anything when I cut the grass or when I paint. To me, it's good. Actually, I feel relaxed. I'm like, I like the smell of grass. And when I'm like, oh, look at this art. Because I'm a very creative person. But for you, it's like, oh, it's mayhem for me. But if you put me in the kitchen, after I cook what I'm going to eat, if I have to cook for more people and do the dishes, boom, just shoot me. Because it's not, literally, I prefer to, no. because my grandmother used to make me do the dishes and I learned to hate it. I hate doing dishes with a passion. I cannot do dishes to save my life. And something as simple as that. Now, I can build you a house. And what do I do when I get stressed? I want to build. I feel in a good place when I'm building. Now, when I'm coaching people, then that's where my core is. That's where my center is. I'm very clear on that. I would say to anyone who want to take action, think of a really bad moment in your life and think living that moment over and over and over and over and over and over and over. What kind of person you will be. Once you see that, once you really visualize that and see that, for those who can visualize things, once you see that horrible situation, the only thing that you want is to never repeat it. Like you don't want to repeat that situation in your life, never again. Imagine the first time you got divorced and it was something painful. Like, oh God, this is so painful. And you eventually get divorced and you go your way and you meet somebody else. Now, work on that relationship so you never go through that. We work to destroy the relationship every day. It's a natural thing to do, to destroy your relationship. Now, you don't want to go to the pain of the divorce. You have to work in your relationship and you have to be clear on who you are. In your relationship, who you are, because you can be a man with a female energy and your partner could be a female with a masculine energy and you guys will work perfectly okay through the whole day. But once you go into the bedroom, maybe that man wants a masculine energy and maybe that woman wants a feminine energy. And once you guys are in the room, that becomes very clear. You take action on knowing this is what I want to achieve and this is what I'm staying away from. We have to do the work. Like the thing that is happening nowadays is that not doing the work has become the normal thing. Mediocre become the normal thing. Not a lot of people are doing what we are doing, coaching. Like, this is the reality. This is where you are, and this is what you need. And when people tell me, let me look at my numbers to see if I can afford a coach, I always say that's the wrong thing to say. I tell you what, I'm going to send you some information on what you need to do. It's on me. You're not going to have to pay for it, but this is the cash. If I send you that information, I will not coach you because you're already coming up with an excuse. You're already coming up with a reason why you're not going to improve your life. You're coming up with a reason that you don't have the money and you cannot afford a coach. I believe you cannot afford not to have a coach. Everybody should have a coach. My coach works for me in a level that is very simple. I go to him, this is what's going on, and he's like, what are you not doing? And then that's it. Simple, let's work on what I'm not doing. And he keep me aware of that. And all the other guys that my coach is working with keep me connected to the understanding of what are you not doing. That's what is missing right now, what you're not doing. Most of the stuff that people do are not working for them. And they are automatic. When you get together with your family, let's say, or your family members, what do you guys do?
Hang out, talk.
And do you guys eat?
Yeah, we eat.
Okay. And they say eat something that was made when you was a kid, your family, but with your culture. Where does it come from? The food that you guys eat?
Typically culture.
Culture is what you know, right? So you don't have to work hard on that. It's just something that happens when we get together as humans. We eat to talk and to socialize and stuff like that. You will gain weight without planning to gain weight, but you have to plan to lose the weight. You have to have a plan that you follow to lose the weight. And we are designed to follow a plan. When you go to school, your mother sent you to school. You follow directions from your mom. You go to school, your dad, family members, if you went to school. And you used to go into school, you used to learn. But most people graduate high school and they say, I'm never going to open a book again. And they never do. And some people finish college and they hate it. I tell you one particular situation where a cousin of mine graduated from college, and he took all the book and burned them. And he was like, I feel so relieved. I feel great that I'm burning all this book. God, I suffer so much reading those books. And to me, that dynamic was completely crazy because I love learning. I buy the books and I open them and I read. And every time I have a book, wow, this is so powerful. Somebody created this information. Somebody went through all of this. For me to learn this, to be here and live through this experience myself without doing all the work. I love books, but seeing a guy burned in the books, It was crazy. So I understood that everybody has a different way of seeing life. As long as you bring new information so you can grow as a person, you will take action. If you don't put new information in, you're not taking any action because you don't have any new information. You're listening to your own self, which you're going to do the same things that you always done, and you're always going to be where you are. That's the definition of crazy, like literally crazy. That's the definition. Do the same thing and expect something different to happen. How? It's not going to happen. The action is know what you want to achieve. Be clear with your intention. Be very clear. Be very clear and take one little action. One little action is the action, and that will get you going.
When we started, or when you started talking, we talked about how like one of your clients was a doctor and wanted to do construction. We find intrinsic love or passion or an admiration in doing something, and it could be something that's totally mind-boggling for some people, right? Because doctors, a lot of people think, well, doctors are well-renowned. They had to go through a lot of schooling. They had to go through a lot of work in order to achieve that title, that goal. But then they want to do something that they could have did maybe when they were 16. So they did 10 years of education to finally reach this lofty goal. But that's where a lot of people are. A lot of people think, well, this is what I want. This is what I should aspire to be. When they finally get there, they realize they're not happy because people are chasing happiness, but what they're really looking for is fulfillment. And as long as they're looking for happiness, they're always going to come out at the end of their goal unsatisfied. So that doctor was just at that end where he's like, I can make a lot of money, but it's not fulfilling me. And I mean, luckily for me, when I was like 18, 19, I was doing business, finance, accounting, and just going in, just hated it. And I said, I have to make a change. So it was the teaching that I loved, the education that I loved. And it wasn't until, to be honest, 2017, I've been teaching since 2009, 2017, I believe, when I met my mentor, and he says, your passion or your love or what you should be doing is teaching and educating. It didn't matter what capacity. It didn't matter if it was in the pool. It didn't matter if it was in the school. It didn't matter if it was at a library. As long as you're teaching, you're going to find you're in a good place. And you can make as much money as you want to, right? Just understand what you do, understand your value, understand your worth, go from there. And then for me, it's like you get to the point where you're so busy. The power of delegation. I wrote a blog on this. Power of delegation is so powerful. Why in the hell am I going to paint? Why the hell am I going to mow the grass when I can use that hour and I can make more money than what I would pay the landscaper or pay the painter? We have to stop working backwards. So yeah, you're going to paint the house because maybe your wife said so, but then how many hours is that going to take you? And the fact that you're not skilled at it, so it's going to take you even longer than if you got a professional. So a professional might have taken maybe 6 hours. For me, it's going to take me 6 days. So now I just lost 6 days of money versus just paying someone for 6 hours. That's just the way it is, right? So we have to understand where our skill set is, and then we approach that in the sense of, does this fulfill me? Does this make me fulfilled at the end of the day? Because if I'm going to come home after painting, or if I'm in the house and I have to paint and then I have to go see the missus later, I'm just going to be miserable. And then, yeah, the frequency is going to be the same. She's going to be like, oh, you're miserable. I'm miserable too. Let me tell you about my terrible day too. So we have to know when to, or where to draw that line. Where should we be? Where should we be taking action? And having a coach like yourself is going to be that point for a lot of people where you should be taking your focus. You talk to your coach. What are you not doing? Where you should be taking your focus instead of where you are putting your focus. And sometimes we think we should be doing this, we should be doing this, and we're doing all this movement, but we mistake our movement for progress. So we have to be making progress toward the future that we want to achieve, rather than, oh, well, I'm doing a lot of stuff, I'm keeping busy, but just because you're keeping busy, it doesn't mean you're doing the right thing. I can do 4 hours a day of work and I could be fulfilled at the end of it. I can spend the rest of my family, bills taken care of. Everything is good. But I like to work. I like to help people. I like to do the podcasts and all the shows that I do. I find love in it. I don't just come into the office and say, another day at this again. This is going to be terrible. Because if I was there, my wife would feel it. My son would feel it. My mom or my dad would feel it. They'll be like, oh, this guy's, like he's stressed out, or, he's not in a good place mentally. We have to get into that good mental state. How do you do it? You get a coach like Marcos. You say, all right, I want to make some changes in my life. How do I do that? Yes, coaching is an investment, but we will invest in fast food that makes us unhealthy. We will invest in college and then get a degree that we might not use. We will invest in superficial things like the clothes we wear, the bags that we carry no money in because we just spent all the money on the bag, the cars that we drive to try to impress the people that we don't care about. There's a lot of things that we are doing that are not conducive to our growth and to our success and to our happiness and to our fulfillment. All of those, right? Whichever one you want, because some people think of it different. Some people want happiness. Typically, it's like more of a feminine type of thing. A lot of women want happiness. Men want fulfillment. Not saying that women can't have fulfillment. Significance is what people want in the end if we had to combine it. People want to create something in their life. How do we do that? And the way we do that is figure out where you are, figure out where you want to be, and then get some help. Marcos, you and I could probably talk all day about life coaching, how to help people, getting people into the right mindset. If you can, give us some final words and tell the audience where they can find you.
I would say to anyone who wants to improve their life, be aware where you are. Take a little bit of time, stop whatever you're doing, and ask yourself if you are centered with who you need to become. I would say that's the main thing. Be aware of where you want to be. Like, that's the main thing. And love yourself with the reality of you are here now. You are here now. You don't know tomorrow. Stop thinking that tomorrow I'm going to do this and this tomorrow. No, start taking action, little actions that you have to take. For men, specifically for men, these 3 words are very powerful. No bullshit, no nonsense, no drama. Anytime you are doing something, ask yourself, is this bullshit for me? Does this have nonsense? And is this drama? Am I bringing this drama or am I putting up with drama? Because as men, we don't need those things. And every time they're in front of us, they destroy us because we are giving those 3 things power. No bullshit, no nonsense, no drama. Deal with the reality as a man and be like, okay, this is what needs to be done. This needs to be changed. I need to stop this, or I need to start doing those things. If anyone needs my help, they can DM me through Instagram at Activo.Coaching. Very simple. DM me through there. I'm going to have the page and everything ready very soon. I have to change. But anyone who needs help on any area when it comes to life coaching, they can hit me up. I like to work with couples that are going through situations. I like to work with them to help them understand where they are, where the energy is, and what they really want, who they are when it comes to their energy, so they can reconnect again. Because I think every relationship starts good, but then it gets diluted and it turns into this, I don't want to be in this. And I want to thank you for inviting me. So I love it. I listened to you show actually on my way to the gym.
Yeah, I appreciate you supporting us, and I appreciate you listening in, tuning in, and evolving your mindset. As anyone else listening to this today, I appreciate you listening and tuning in and changing your life. And the work that Marcos does also is going to change your life. All his links will be in the description box below, so you can easily find them and look at what he's doing, look at what he's creating. And the purpose of what a coach is going to do for you is going to be different for everyone. What would you like to achieve? What would you like to attain? It starts with just asking, maybe a simple message, a simple DM, but begin that process and don't worry about the wallet. The wallet can be filled. The wallet can always be changed. You're going to be losing money probably if you don't get a coach, because you're going to keep on making the same mistakes. So stop making the same mistakes. Stop running in a circle. Stop living in the rat race and start taking control of your life. I want to thank you so much, Marcos, for coming on Coaching in Session. Great conversation today.
Thank you, man. Thank you. You're awesome, bro. You're awesome.